Welcome to the show. You know, addiction affects millions of people, and at some point in your life, it's probably affected you, if not you personally, then someone that you love deeply. And what we want you to know today is that there is help out there, wonderful help that has and continues to change the way people not only recover from addiction, but even more importantly, remain sober and live long, happy, fulfilling lives. Greg Hanley is the founder of SOBA Recovery Center. He is joining us along with actor Daniel Baldwin and the lovely Tara Connor, Miss USA 2006 and recovery advocate. It's so good to see you.
It's so good to see you.
How are you?
Good.
Wow.
Hi.
Hi.
It's been a while.
It
It's
has.
been a minute. Yeah. Really missed y'all, but I love when you're here because you help so many people just in the few minutes that you're here and you're talking to us. So I guess today we want to talk more about SOBA in general, why it's unique, what it's done for you, and why that's the phone call people should make if they're really suffering. So I guess first, Greg, tell us a little about SOBA Recovery, because I know you have several locations, but why is yours the best?
Well, what it comes down to is long-term treatment and experience. We've been treating the opiate crisis since it became a crisis. Yeah. And unfortunately, we have a lot of experience in it, but fortunately, we do also. So everybody hears about it all the time, but they don't realize that the gravity and the depth of the effect of this. Right. So we, and we treat other things. The underlying issues is, it would be nice if it was drugs and alcohol as the problem, right. But everybody comes in, they have underlying issues. Anxiety, depression probably be the number one things, and it's not rocket science to figure that out, but it is important to find out what's causing it and how to help people navigate through, you know, the problems that come with the addiction
And you always talk about the fact that, you know, this isn't going to be something that is treated and fixed and cured in 28 days.
Right.
That's impossible, and that's what makes SOBA different. And I know, Tara, you shared your story. You've been very open. Daniel, you as well. But just tell us a little about SOBA and why it was the difference maker.
Well, just for me coming into SOBA, I've known Greg since I had 30 Days Sober. We did Larry King Live together, and I just saw the passion that he had for helping other people. And then, of course, I've met my brother Daniel here, and we kind of developed this amazing team because we've all had so many experiences with the ugly that this disease carries. But our hope is to show that there is a way up and out of addiction, and we want to just really press the fact that it takes so much more than just a week-long detox or a 30-day program. Long-term recovery is essential for some form of success because I'm 12 and a half years sober, but I still have things that I have to work on a daily basis. And if it wasn't for people like Greg or organizations like SOBA, I wouldn't have the resources to find the support that I need because it's a long-term disease. It's progressive. It doesn't get better just because you get sober because it's centered in your mind. Yeah. You have to treat the brain, and a lot of that has to do with trauma. It has to do with that anxiety, depression that you were talking about, and we offer that long-term solution and that community where people can really lean on each other.
Yeah, and you've talked about this, Daniel, so many times, the fact that you have a family in SOBA. You said that when you know, the 28 days were over. You were there for months, actually. How long were you there?
I actually graduated and owe my sobriety to SOBA. I went to rehab 9 times. I went to all the ones that write the books and are, you know, $70,000 a month and are supposed to be the best ones, and I never got it until I got there. And so to answer your question, the answer is twofold. Number one, how long did it take you to get in the position that you're in that you needed to go into rehab?
Right.
That's years it took you to do that. Greg sat down when he got sober and he wrote a list. I'll never forget him telling me the story. I wrote a list of the things that worked and I wrote a list of the things that didn't work. And I tried to change or modify those things that didn't work so that I had a longer list of things that worked. And length of stay and how long you're going to get these repetitions. Getting sober is usually not the issue. Staying sober is the issue. And there lies the model of staying for long term at sober. The second thing that is being underestimated here, and if your car is rattling and you know something's wrong with your car, each person's car that rattles is not the same thing wrong with it. So you bring it in to get it assessed. At SOBA, a team of clinicians meet weekly, sometimes bi-weekly, to assess what happened in group yesterday with Kimberly. What was she talking about? Oh, Kimberly brought up an issue that happened to her when she was 15. Daniel brought up something that happened in the house with him and his family. And so your treatment continues to be modified while you're at SOBA. That one-size-fits-all model that goes on at almost every other place is not the case here. Your treatment can be dramatically different, and the clinicians are trauma certified. So whatever these traumas could be, and many times they're sexual, or there's some type of abuse involved, or a loss, a mourning of the loss of a parent or a sibling or whatever. So each one of these factors is taken into consideration, and there's an evolution that goes on for months. And another point that Greg brought up to me, which was very, very true about SOBA, you bring somebody into recovery and you think that this person, I guarantee you, has some type of a trust issue and they're very guarded, and you think in 30 days they're going to sit in a room and tell a complete stranger all these deep, dark secrets that went on in their life? They're not. That takes months to establish that relationship and that trust and that bond. And suddenly you find out 3.5 months into it, this person was raped, or this person was whatever, whatever it might be.
But it takes that long.
It does for you to be able to want to go to that place to admit it.
Yeah.
And for me, I was 18 months I was in. 18 months I stayed. So
It took a little longer.
Summer sick.
How dare you?
Right.
And I had no issues.
But look at you now. And I mean, this is what you do. You travel the country and you help people and you get them into this program. And it saves lives.
Yes.
It truly does.
It does save lives. SOBA has absolutely. Greg, as my mentor and friend, and his program saved my life, for sure.
Yeah.
My children have a father now.
I know. And I love that you're so open with your story, and thank you for doing that, because I know there are people watching right now that need to make that call, but they haven't.
Yeah.
They call it the 1,000-pound phone. And it's hard to pick up. You don't know who's going to be on the other end of the line and what they're going to be like. And, you know, the main thing, my intake people are alumni. So they know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to have to pick up the phone, and now you can even text message and just say, can we talk?
It's less scary to send a text.
Well,
than
I
to talk
did
about
the
it.
intake calls for a long time, and I would ask, are you calling for yourself or somebody else? And they would say, I'm calling for my daughter. And I would ask them, what's going on with her? And it would give somebody a chance to finally be able to tell what's going on in their life.
Like really,
Yeah.
honestly talk about
Yeah,
it.
and it's very emotional to me because, you know, I had so many parents and so many people that they just don't know what to do. And it was such relief for them to find a place in an ear to be able to talk about these things that are going on in their house or going on in their life or going on with their children with somebody who can understand, is not going to judge, and has a solution for this. And the amount of pain that comes through the phone and the relief that they get when somebody says, I can help you with this. You know, it did something to me. And I would get to know the parents, and I'd get to know the family, and I'd get to know the kids. And I stop by there all the time. We go from here to there and sit down with the people and see how they're doing. Daniel constantly has people that reach out to him through Facebook or through wherever, and we get to know what's going on. And my goal when I was talking, especially with parents or husbands and pretty much anybody that was calling, is to give them a night of peace the first night that they're in treatment
they
for
haven't
them
had
to be
it.
able to let their breath out because they live in post-traumatic stress.
Yeah.
Well, there's also a great moment in someone's recovery. Particularly, you see this through their mother or father, and I call it the 90-day smile.
Yeah.
So we'll go from here, and we'll go speak, or we'll go, Tara will go and tell her story to people at SOBA in Texas.
Right.
But when we go there and you see the mom and dad who are coming to visit their kid, and they look at you and they go, and they start welling up, and they have their kid back.
Yeah.
They haven't seen their kid in
Yes.
years, and they've been stealing things and in trouble with the law. We're calling district attorneys and lawyers and people to try to calm them down and say, hey, he's okay right now. He's here. He's doing well. But that smile that they have, it makes it all so worthwhile to watch a mom, and then they hug you and they break down and they
course.
go, I have my daughter back.
Yes.
And you're patting them going, I know.
Yes.
But I mean, that really is the paycheck for me.
Absolutely.
And it's definitely an opportunity for people to not feel that judgment of life, because we're all so afraid of looking bad, and we're so afraid that our families are going to look a certain way. And media, society, social media, all of that is doing that to us. And the fear is that they're going to find me out. But we're trying to change the conversation. I got sober so publicly. And for me, that was a gift because I was forced into it. But had my experience not happened the way that it did, I don't think I would be alive today. And so to know that you can create that connection with people and say, I don't know you, but I know exactly who you are. I know what you've gone through. And we're going to meet you exactly where you are and love you through it unconditionally, because we've seen what it looks like on the front lines. And it's so important for people to understand that we're just here to help, and that help is an option, and your life can start today.
Yeah. And I know y'all are. This is your life mission. This is what you do.
Just for the record, I didn't go in willingly.
Yeah. I like your story though. You absolutely didn't
No.
want to go.
No, I had no plans on staying sober, and I was a mess. Yeah, you get to a point in your addiction or in your alcoholism where you feel like everybody'd be better off without you. And it's the big lie that we tell ourselves. So, going to treatment, it wasn't, I remember the first night I was there, I was sitting there going, how did this happen? How am I here? And then a guy came and sat down next to me, and he just started singing. And it was, and then he sang he was a celebrity, and he sang this whole kind of musical that he sang on Broadway, and I was sitting there thinking, maybe it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And then I learned things about, because I couldn't figure out how to find happiness, and it was like I followed Tony Robbins around and tried to do that, and nothing was working. And then I was in treatment, and I started hearing things about how to change my life and how to rebuild my spirit and how to become a valuable human being again. And it comes from giving back. And all my friends here, even including you, is that this is how we give back. And if I can, in my family, I've lost 3 people to this directly. And it's kind of like, so I know what it's like to be a son and a brother and an uncle to family members who you can't fix what happened. And so if we can do that for one family, if I can give peace of mind, and if I can have a mom not have to pick out a casket, I've done something with my life. And that's the goal, and we all know people who haven't been able to have that. And it can be a phone call, and I know that people are scared. I know that they're afraid. And I talk to moms and I go, you can love your kid to death. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to call and talk and get some help on how to get them in. Because sometimes, and Daniel will tell you, so many times that it's happened is people waited a day too long.
Right.
And they say, why didn't I call yesterday?
There comes
why
a point.
didn't I do something?
There comes a point. He's referring to this phone call. What was the girl's name? Louise, I think her name was. And the mother said, I found her with a needle in her arm in the living room. Thank goodness I had the Narcan kit. I revived her, they took her to the hospital, and they let her go. I'm just going to check with Hal when he gets home Friday. And I went, I'm sorry, it was Tuesday. I said, you're going to wait till Friday to check with your husband whether your daughter who OD'd and was dead. She'd go, she died Thursday. She shot up again. And that, you know what, now there's nothing I can do to help anymore. There's nothing I can do.
And we have a lot of options. You know, we have a lot of centers. So you can be on the East Coast, you can be in Arizona, Texas, Malibu, and the intake people, they figure where you're going to flourish. And sometimes you need to be out of town.
So
sometimes you need to be in town.
In the city or the state that
Right.
you live. You
Yeah.
may go somewhere else.
And the Malibu location, people come from all around the world to go to Malibu. And I went there and never left. You know, it was, I still live there. My kids
Yeah.
grew up there. And the people who work with me in Malibu, the doctor who does the detox, she's my family doctor and one of my best friends. And Dr. Modir, who is the addictionologist, she's like Sigmund Freud, 3 generations. There's nobody that knows more about addiction and spends the time getting to know the person. They do a biopsychosocial, which is a in-depth get to know you. They do a full psych evaluation, and then they develop a treatment plan that's going to include everything from medical, spiritual, nutrition and fitness, vocational, social. All of these things need to be, all of them need to be done. It's kind of like having the recipe for a cake. You need to put all the ingredients
Right.
in to have a nice cake. And it works if people have enough time to be able to do it.
And I know that's a worry people have. Well, how the heck? I've got a job, I've got a family, and how do I go somewhere for months? Because I'm sure people ask you that, right?
We work around that. We
Yeah.
work with that. And everybody has a life.
Right.
They have a life, so, but sometimes, and I talk to some moms who they've gotten jammed up on pills, for instance, and it's kind of like in a long time ago, computers used to only have a little bit of memory and they would just freeze, and especially moms, they've spent their life taking care of everybody, and
Right.
they've never had a
But
break to
themselves.
getting taken care of themselves.
Yeah.
And they just need kind of a reboot, and they need to get rid of some of the stuff they're carrying around so they can have a good life again. That's the goal.
And also, I think that it's really hard for, I speak to people all the time that reach out to me and they're like, what do I do? Where do I go? And every time I say, perhaps treatment is the best idea here, they always fall back on, but my child, or I have my job. And I can't stress enough that if you don't have recovery, you don't have your job, you don't have your child. I mean,
You
what
have
would
no
you?
life.
You
You
have
won't
no
have a life.
life. So you need to find a place that can take you and help build you up so that you can gain access to that power that you already have inside of you. It's just covered up by all this life junk. And just put all of that to the side because what you're doing right now isn't working. And I don't think that parents feel all the time that their kids can see what is going on, but kids are smart. And if mommy and daddy have to go away for a little while, they get a whole new mommy and daddy when they come back. And it's the best step that someone could take. I had to go into treatment while I was Miss USA and you only have a year. You
Yeah, I know.
So I spent a
Yeah.
little chunk of that in treatment, but I didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay because I knew that I needed more help. And so I just want to, I beg of people, if you even have an inkling that maybe you need to go to treatment and those thoughts come up that say, they're lies. They're like, yeah, you buy the lie that, no, I don't have the time to do that or I'll lose my job. There are laws that protect you. This is an illness you have. If you have cancer, you treat it.
Of course.
So if you have this disease, you treat it. You're not a bad person going to jail. You're a sick human that needs a little bit of help. And we can give that to people.
We don't shoot our wounded.
No, you don't. You build them up.
Right.
Yeah, and, you know, two things come to mind. Number one, I simplify it as the many things that I've learned from Greg over the years. And ask yourself about yourself or a loved one. Does the quality of your life suffer due to the use of either alcohol, drug, whatever it is? Does the quality of your life suffer? Because normal people don't eat so much that the quality of their life suffers, or don't ingest anything or do anything or act out in any way, that suddenly there's ramifications that you're suffering from due to the use of this substance. If the answer to that question is yes, you should probably seek some type of treatment or some type of help. That's what, and the other thing that's very interesting too is usually the family is sick as a result of it. It's not just this person. It's the wife, it's the husband, it's the children. And this is a family disease.
Everyone's affected.
Yeah, everyone
yes.
gets affected by it.
We have the Baldwin wing.
We do. Yeah, there have been many Baldwins.
And people worry about the cost and how to get in, and if it's affordable, and we're able to take insurance. We work with people, we work things out so it's not going to destroy you financially also. Our goal is to give the highest quality treatment for the longest length of time for the least amount of money. And we've been able to do that successfully. And we have, sometimes we're able to offer a scholarship to somebody that needs it more often than not. But people are surprised to find out that we can figure out a way to make it affordable. And if it just absolutely isn't something that you can do, then we now have another option to help with this.
And we're going to bring in Alex, aren't we?
Yep, we're going to bring in Alex.
Bring in Alex. He's bringing in the goods.
He's like the sobriety Vanna White.
Yes. Dun, 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 dun. So tell us about it. What do we
So
have?
for years we've been, there's so many people in the insurance regulations, and things have changed a lot to where some people just can't get to treatment. And we have, now I've partnered with a natural pharmaceutical company, and we've developed a home detox kit. And people that can't make it in, they have no other option. And understand, when you're detoxing, there's nothing that's going to bring a 9 to a 0, but we can bring a 9 to a 3 and make it manageable. And I've used this with so many people that couldn't come in, good friends, close friends, and I've seen it amazingly work. So this is, and it's not only detox, it's detox and pain management. So it comes with a pain cream, and it comes with daytime and nighttime tabs that they just, and I ended up with this company because I had problems, pain issues, and I used it, and all of a sudden I was pain-free. And my anxiety level went down. I had no bouts of depression while I was with it. And so we did clinical studies in my center in Mesa, and we found out that people that were using it in treatment, documented using it in treatment, that it just relieved a lot of the symptoms that were difficult for them.
And it's important to say that it is non-addictive and non-narcotic.
And there lies. So you don't have to wait until you're in a position where you've already been on painkillers, which they're not going to tell you. And God bless the doctors, they're trying to help these people. But they don't advertise to you that if you take 90 of these over the course of a month or whatever it's going to be, because you have a legitimate reason, you may physically be addicted to this. This is an option, and I can prove that it works because I just finished filming a movie, a documentary, where I had to run with the bulls in Pamplona, Spain. And so before I go, in the training that I had to do, I tore my rotator cuff. And so they told me, there's nothing we can do, we have to do the surgery. And I called Greg and I said, I can't do the workouts anymore. I have to have my limbs and my appendages to lift the weights and lose the weight and everything. He goes, I have something I want to send you, I want you to try. And I have to tell you, I could not lift my arm above my chin. I couldn't lift my arm. And I have not had surgery or anything done, but I used it this morning. And I can lift my hands equally.
He was calling me going, look at this.
That's amazing.
I put it on, and 30 seconds later, I went from this to, hey, my hand's going up. And he goes, yeah, just wait. And so I waited.
I
like
had a
another
broken neck years ago, and I was in chronic pain. And when your neck is broken, even if they fix it, it affects your knees, your hips, you're just constantly in pain. And when I met these guys that developed this on a real estate deal, and I was rubbing my neck, and they said, try this. And it worked.
I have to say too, because this is so important to me, one of my underlying issues, or a couple of them, is I suffer from severe panic attacks and I have depression, and my husband and I have been trying to get pregnant And so I've been weaning off of my medication. I might get a little emotional.
That's okay.
But my panic attacks came back in full force. And I was like, whoa, I forgot what these felt like, right? And I have so many tools because I have been sober. I know what to do. But when it's something that's chemically imbalanced in your brain and it's a physical reaction that you can't control, I had a pack of the Opitox and I tried it and my panic attack stopped. And so just to know that there's an option not only for detoxing from drugs and alcohol, but also for expecting mothers and for people who are just trying to get through the day if they're not on medication, this can change lives. And I'm so grateful just to be a part of it, because had I not been a part of SOBA, had I not been a part of this amazing team and been engulfed with this family, I wouldn't have just the option to know, like, well, maybe I'll try the Opitox and just see, because I knew that it was relieving people of depression and anxiety symptoms.
Right. Well, that's amazing. I mean, I'm so happy for you that you have that option, Tara. Thank you for sharing that. But I know people are saying, well, how do I get it? What if I need it?
So you
What do I do?
you can call the phone number that's listed.
Okay.
Called SOBA directly, or you can go to the websites that we're going to have listed. It's very easy to get. The reason that SOBA developed this is because of Greg's model at the entire company from day one is helping people. So for the ones that are out there that can't afford to come to SOBA, don't have the time, or the insurance policy doesn't cover, this is something that's very affordable and it's easily accessible to anybody. We send it directly to your home, and
If someone's struggling with an addiction, or if they have, if they're using this, like, okay, I have something to give me a softer landing. What else do I do? I beg of you, please reach out to me on Instagram. Reach out to Daniel. Reach out to Greg.
All of
we
you
will
answer.
find
You always get back to
local,
people.
free support that is near you that can help get
I
you
don't check
through
my
it.
Instagram.
But you
I
check
Reach out
Facebook.
to me on FaceShare.
You did. On face share.
Yes, and on
Face
Face Share.
Yes. And if people, again, and I just want to let people know that if they're not certain if they even have a problem, or maybe a child has an issue, they can call you.
Yes.
Day
Yeah.
or night, 24/7 at SOBA. Someone
Absolutely.
will answer.
Yeah, somebody's going to answer, and you're going to talk to Cam or Jane or Chris, and they'll be able to give you relief immediately. You know, a lot of times people ask, how do I know if I have a problem? How do I know if somebody has a problem? And I tell them, if drugs and alcohol are consistently interfering with you having a good life, then it's something that you need to take a look at. And we can help with that.
I know you can. And if they're scared to make the call, they can text.
Absolutely.
They can text
Right?
as well, correct.
So the same number, you can text, and again, someone will answer. Or you can find them on social media and message directly.
I come to your house.
Daniel,
I call Greg up. I go, I got a girl. Her insurance is good. We're going to put her in, but they need me to come. And he'll turn around and take his miles, and he'll get me a ticket. And I'm in Wyoming somewhere.
That's how they roll. And that's why we love them.
Yep.
Thank y'all for being here. I adore you, and I love what you're doing for so many people. Thank you for always being so open and helping.
thanks for
Thank
having
you.
us.
All right, and the number to SOBA Recovery Center is on your screen. It's 866-678-6031. Call them today.
God bless you.